turn. Okay, go in water, just... Okay. And then go copy with the grid on. Save again, you did. I am literally... okay. I'm just going to be working on this head. Yeah, making it releasable, so it's tweaks and stuff. Okay, let's turn that off. Okay, now that... actually, you know what? That can be deleted for now. Okay, so... let's go to all them, make sure... turn that down to there. Actually, its hair would be lower than that. We'll go 2. Oops. Yeah, that's right. 2. I'm just determining the how much density the hair has, and to be honest, it's hair. It's got bugger all. Now the scalp, one more. That can have a 0, not collidable, max friction, and that can ignore gravity. Because that's what everything's based on. That. That's all good. A little bit of friction on that. To 2. Same on the other side. I really should turn my chat on for this. So if you have any questions. Let's just do this by pairs. This section here, it's the way I've made it. If I come in and go like hide everything else, it's got 2 pieces. I could separate them, but if I keep them together like that, it makes it in a way a little bit more customizable in the... I can see here how I haven't painted one, so let's quickly give it a coat of paint there. Then if I do that one, grab that color, paint it. Then I can show you as a thing I'm quite fond of when it comes to making stuff like this. Now these back ones here, I could in theory turn off its gravity, which is this one here. But if you want to be able to later on make it, I don't know, longer and dynamic, then it's cool to have that. So if I now turn that off, if I get this side now, as you can see, there's so much on that side on there, so I'm just going to delete that side so you can see what it's like underneath. What I'm going to do is quickly grab the scalp. If I grab that one, let's turn that one off, put that one on. So that's the precise and that's the aligned to the surface. I'm going to grab that one and just give it a bit of underhair here, I suppose you can call it. Underhair. Yes, then. It doesn't have to be precise because this is only if you're looking up, like the head tilts all the way in a certain direction. you could see the back of the head and it has no hair. It's like, we kind of want to hide that, so I'm just trying to add a... So if we do that and paint it. So now, when you look up underneath, you'll see there's hair there. It's not meant to actually like, because it's not actual hair, so this part here doesn't matter. I suppose I could put it there and then you wouldn't need the stuff on the back if you didn't want it there. I'll do that. So if people want to edit it and make it a no, I still want it to have some look towards a proper head of hair, even though it's not an actual head of hair, it's just a sculpt to look like hair. And if I just hide that, there's a slight gap in... oh yeah, if I do that, that'll work. Paint. And then, of course, as you can see, that's all one piece. I can now just grab the clone, precise on, let's move it to this side, flip, and place it so it's aligned roughly the same. Turn the whole head back on, let's just double check. Move it in a little bit. I'm just checking like earring to earring, or jaw line there to jawline. If I back it, you can see better. So there's the ear line there, goes to that. It's not exact, but it's close enough. But the whole hair has to move to the side, but whatever. Okay, so what I want to do is also make this one, and if I grab let's move this to the side, like that. Let's just put those two together, but we'll just double check that that doesn't have... No, that's all good. Now this one here, we're going to delete that, and as you can see it's painted, but if I grab that, I've got grid on. That, clone, shrink it down a little bit, move it over, and then adjust its... kind of there-ish. Then we can grab a paint. Let's put that on without the line. Okay, so there's one without the mouth. There's one with the mouth. And they are all attached to the headpiece there. Those two need to be separated. Okay, so it's got a... with that on, just highlight it, back on, that's better. Yes, 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 and if we come back out. Okay. Now, obviously, that one, we don't want it visible. Actually, we'll turn it off. Yeah, off. And turn that one off for now. Okay, now the eyes. Let's just delete the eyes. Now normally, I'll just come into here, my creations, search, and just do eye, and I can bring up these eyes and I'll plonk them in. But what I might actually do is I might... if I do that, if I copy this one again, I'm using the grid so that, let's back it out, so that if I've got to move it back to there, it lines up perfectly. Now that should be on a separate thing. Yes, it is. Good. So if I now delete and come on, delete. I should then better grab, where are we, that one, and grab that one. What's I'm going to do one side, that's going to be a pain in the ass. That one, thank you. Okay, if I get that, if I now quickly give that a coat of paint of white, and I should be able to get rid of that. And now if I put that onto grid, I should be able to get this and bring it across into there. Then if I grab it, I'm on the right one. Yes I am. Now I just got to line it to kind of there. Okay, there we go. Just move it out to say there. Okay, so if I just grab that. Now if I just move it back about, so that much. How's that look? Up a bit. It doesn't look too bad. Okay, that moved up. So I'll move it to roughly there. Okay. I'm going to attempt to customize an maybe an eyelid that it's hard to say. If I just do the one, so if that's like that, just quickly back just a hair, just to quickly check. I'm going to paint it the same color again. If I do that, now if I get zoom in as far as I can, so it's actually on the heads thing. Let's go back to that. We'll grab a bolt. Now this doesn't have to be exact right now, but I definitely want it kind of centered. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to turn that on. Okay, so it's I want turn it. Okay, 90 degrees there. I'm just going to do a quick little test here now. If I take it back to where I think on it. Oh my god. There. Nope. Try again. Oh my god, I hate places. Oh my god, I hate PlayStation controllers. Okay, I'm going to take a guess at about. I need X-ray on. Guess at about there-ish. Looking at that, blinding it, it's looking about right. Okay, let's all turn that off. Turn that on. Oop, that's got to be turned to there, so it's on. Okay. Then I can do that. Okay, so if I now close that and move it, how's that look? Does that look No, that looks way off. Yeah, it's way off. It's gonna be way further back. Okay, so further back and up. I just want to see if this is actually a viable way to do it. So if we go further back, and then I said up, didn't I? So I say about there. How does that look? It doesn't feel too bad. Let's have a look, see. Yeah, see, now that's way wrong. If I go... So, does it have to be lowered in that case? Or lower it? No, wow, okay. I'll lower it to say to there. Alright, how's that look? Well, that's getting closer. So its height was the problem. So if I put it right in the center, it still doesn't feel right. It feels more like a roller door and less like a... Yeah, see how it's... The only way I can get around that is by actually making it a slider, and I don't want it to be a slider. Actually... Let's do a quick test. If I grab a copy of it, because a slider could work. I wish they'd fix their alignment tool, but you know. Because as you can see, that is pretty well aligned, whereas this one is slightly off. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick, if I go... Actually, no, I'll stay in that zoom. If we grab that, and with that on, we can go click and click. So they are now fixed in that position. Then I should better come into here and grab another one with precise turned on. Yep, okay, and if I just go straight up, so it's a slider, like that. You see, it's... Nah, it's not going to work, because when it's up, it's still got the curve at the bottom, and it's going to bug the living shit out of me. I say, gone, 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 gone. Okay. So I'm best off using pre-made eyes. I could make another custom set of eyes, but then I have to do the whole ball joints. There's no point. There's no point if I've already got a set made. So I'm gonna go eyes. Let's grab that. Look at there. Let's turn those two off. Okay. Now if I use the hair as the base location for the placements. So, because let's face it, the hair is the iconic part of the character, so that's there, take it back till it sits in, up. Now, because of the way I've set up the eyes, they were not set up for the set. Oh, I keep doing hand movements, you can't even see it. They weren't set, it wasn't set up for the wide eye separation. It was set up for a humanoid. But if I grab that and turn it, say, 10, do the same one on this one, 10. Where you click is where it pivots from, so try and make sure that you click the same spot on both eyeballs. Now if you look, they're a little bit better aligned, so I now separate them to the whites are around about the same on both eyes, so about there. Then I should better move them back, and then it'll lower it so that the top part of the eye is about there. Okay, so if I move that up, let's say there, that alignment doesn't look too bad. Now you got a little bit of pokage through in there. Now the only real fix for that is altering the whole sculpt. I don't want to do that. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it up so that that is hidden. Actually, that looks unaligned. I need to go... Wait, is that further forward? I think it is. It's hard to tell. If I move it back, how's that look? That looks closer. Move forward just a hair. Sideways a little bit to match. Okay, so I don't want a little bit of... Now if I look at the pictures of her, that bottom bit's fine. The top part, because I've already made the sculpt, I'm thinking I'll maybe shrink the eyeballs a bit. So if I grab that, pull it out, go roughly the center. If I go to say, if I can get it to... I've got this thing, I like it a bit, there we go, 90%, so like that, move it back to roughly where we're on it. This should, hopefully, yeah, there, okay. Oh yeah, that's looking a little bit better. I'll just separate the eyes, just to... Oh yeah, that looks fine. Okay, so that's that. So if I now go... unhide that, those ones there can be moved across and they'll fit perfectly fine. Now, I want to make a set of replaceable heads so that you can make it so you hide this one and show the other ones to make the different mouth shapes. But at the moment, I'm just going to check its... Let's make that a 1. Do the same with this one. And then, you know what, actually those two can have ignore gravity. Oops, and no collision. Now if I check this one, not collidable, or 1, and ignore, okay. So the head sculpts themselves, excuse me. Okay, so the head sculpts themselves are not collidable. You can't hit them. So if your puppet has collisions turn or whatever, it won't interfere. The hair, as I was checking earlier, they should all be the same, like not collidable. And this one here, it obeys the gravity, but it's super light. I've not worried about the friction too much. Oh, eyebrows, gotta check them. Click and click. Now those two have to be yes. Okay, they're good. So nothing there. So that should not interfere with the puppet at all. That's why the puppet's here, so I can test it. That's more of a happy face. Oh, I suppose it's got a happy face. What I want to do is grab this one, and grab it. Do that. Grab that color. Grab a sculpt. Then we can go delete that one. And with the minus on and it's turned on, we can now grab the shape we want. Now I'm thinking more of a yell, but is it going to be a ah yell or an ah, like an eh or an ah? So that's like do about that. I'm thinking now positioning is important here because the top of the mouth, which is along there, so if I come across, that should be around a bit right, but the tongue obviously has to be moved down and back. Yeah, so it's like that's more of like a and that's more like a ah. Okay. Now, do I need? So we've got closed, got open wide. I'm just wondering if I should. In fact, I will just a little bit. If I come down to here and grab that one and just. Actually, if I grab it and do that. Just so that when it happens, it's got that slight change. I don't want it too abrupt. It's just so that it's because I know animes don't normally do that, but it still feels a little weird me being like an artist when I see a mouth and like when you see those mangas and like the mouths. I'm doing hand signals again. The mangas when the mouths are moving and it's like and nothing's happening. The jaw doesn't move, so that's good. So that little bit opens fine, but that I think is warranted. Okay, so now I can move them back across. So we're going to what we're going to do is that's a group. We're going to call that we'll call it an O because that's got the mouth open. Let's turn that back on and do the same with this one, and we'll call that a dash, and we can turn that one back on. I'm just going to double. Yes, that's correct, and those two should be correct. Okay. So what I'm going to do is grab that. Now if I use the hair, I'm trying to think. If I grab the computer chip, I'm going to turn that off for this. Okay, turn that. I'm just going to put on the forehead. That's the easiest spot, right? So I go click, and I've got to lay it so it's on the head, which is what is that? Okay. So if I come into here, let's add. So we've got closed mouth, open mouth, and wide mouth. So we can go, to make it easy, people will go shut, open, and we'll say yell. Try and keep them all roughly the same, so it's actually it's all 4 letters. So what we can do now is come in. Oh, those rings are part of that. Okay, that's going to be a problem. I know how to fix that. I know how to fix that. I know how to fix that. Okay. What I'm going to do to fix that, let's move this other way. If I come out, if I want the ears, not the earrings, not to disappear with the ears, I could do it 2 ways. I could just make, like, zoom in and make sure just that one piece disappears. So I could come in and go, keep going until like it's at that layer there, and if I click on it, it's literally just at one sculpt. Now if I go invisible, so it's invisible now, and I make sure I can only see that, the earrings stay, and they'll still move. So I could do it that way, or I could do it a way where I just make the ears a separate piece. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it this way. I'm just going to have that, and I'm going to rename this as open. Okay, so now we've got shut, open, and then thing. Now, but the catch with this is that tongue is obviously a separate piece. So I'm going to have to come out here. Let's grab the tongue with the grid on so it doesn't move. And take it in by one until it's the point where see the rings are blurry. So now it's in at the same point. And if I make sure that that uses the same as that, or if I go click and click, why is it not letting me? 1, 2. Okay, why are you not? Oh, did I take it in one? No, that's good. Oh, it's right in. So why is it not letting me color select? It's not. Why are you not? Okay, if you're going to be a pain in the butt, let's do it this way. Okay, let's just pair up the visibilities. Yes. So now that when that goes invisible, it also goes that invisible. That'll work as well. So we'll do it that way. Okay, so we've got open. Let's run that into there. That will then make that invisible. Let's just say you can see when I'm doing my stuff. Yeah. Let's just quickly run a power source into there so you can see that that's still there. Okay, so if I now back to the point where these are clear and not fuzzy, going to turn that back on. Going to move you across till sitting right on top, like so. And then that was the yell, so put it into there. I'm hoping the layering is correct. We'll soon find out. And then grab this one and move it across so it lines up. Do the same. And that one is shut, so we're going to go from there to there. I can turn that off. So if I now back out, so all that thing is, if I move that, it's all good. Okay, that's good, good, good. Actually, I want that open. So that other people don't have to wire it up, I'm just gonna, or do I run it off that chip? I might run it off, I'm gonna run it off the chip that's already in there. So if I go to X-ray, there's the chip for the eyes. So if you go like that, so if you're ever using my eyes and you want to run remote stuff on your puppet when you're using the eyes, just come and use this controller. That sensor's just there. That'll still work just perfectly fine. So let's move that down there for now. And now the way we want it to be is we're going to go, I think I showed this before, but I'll run through it again. We're going to grab a calculator for those. Now this one here is when it's shut. So obviously it has to be if it's less than, we'll go 0.1. So if what is coming into it is less than 0.1, it will send a signal out. So we're going to go like that to there. We'll grab this, and just so you can thingy, we'll go controller, grab from the microphone. Like, you can actually see when I'm speaking the percentage changes. Get like that. So when as I'm speaking, it gets up to like a 1. It just peaked at like a 10%. It doesn't help with the number that you need to place in there, because a 100% is a 1 for the pickups. But if you come in and you go, for example, we'll grab that, and then you run that into there. As I speak, you see how it moves. If you get it, and we go, we'll say 100, like it actually is. And you can even go decimal places. You can turn it to 2 decimal places, and then you run that into there. And as I speak, you see it's moving. And if you want to turn it to 100% and then wire it in, it will now be registered. As you can see, like I'm just peaking at like 0.1, so it's hardly touching at all. The way I've been getting around this, that's only hardly filling up. The way I've been getting around that is by grabbing a calculator and just going times, and I'll pick a number, like we'll say 5, and then we'll run it through that. And then if I move it up, I'll grab another pass-through just so you can, actually I'll use that same one as I was using a second ago. We'll go that one and run into there. when I speak, you see how it's moving a lot more than what it was? It's because I've got it multiplied. So obviously I can get to a 1 really easily now. Ideally, just keep clicking. I think I've explained it before. Keep clicking it. We'll go times 2, and then you test it. Speak. See, that's still a little weak. So we'll go times 3. Let's see how that looks. It's still a little weak. We'll go 4 times 4, and then you get a number that's that one's too bad. So we'll leave it at that. And then you run that into there. So if it's less than 0.1, as you can see when I'm speaking, it is flickering. Ideally, pick a number, say 0.05. Pick a number that when you're talking, when any sort of noise comes out, it flicks off pretty quick. That's ideally what you want to do, but you don't want it to be at a point where it feels delayed. You want it to be at a point where, like that 0.01 is actually pretty good. That's as low as you can get it without going crazy. So I'm going to leave it at that. So this one will be displayed when the power is less than, like, when there's no power coming out, or such a small amount that you wouldn't audibly hear it. Then in theory, that one would then be closed, which is the head down there. Now this one here is turned on all the time, but we want it to be, that's a 0.1. So we're going to go greater than 00. So in theory, that one and that one at a certain point, actually let's turn that off and take that across to there. At a certain point, they will both be on, but only for a split second as you're making noise. Once you get to a certain point where that one turns off, and then this one will still be on. But when this one is on, that one will be off. There's a split second when they're both on, and we want that so that there's no invisibility of the thing. But this one needs to be on for a certain pitch or volume. So we're going to grab this one and go less than. And like with this one, we're just going to pick a number, and because I'm not hitting max volume that much, I can go we'll say 0.75. So that's 3/4 volume. I'm going to run the same thing from there to there. I'm going to delete this line here. I think I'm pretty sure I've shown this before, but I'll show it again. So you can even see it flickering behind. I'm going to grab an AND. So when that one is on and that one is on, that will trigger that. Okay, so now when I get full volume, this will turn off and that will turn off. When I get to no volume, that will turn on and these two will be off. When I'm anywhere in the middle, that one will turn on. So then we can go to this one when it's less than, we'll choose a number we know we're not going to hit, 1.5. So it's got to be a less than 1.5. So if I run that from there to there and that to there, this one will stay on permanently because everything is less than that. So we have to run either that, or we can just go greater than and pick a number that is just below that number. So if it's 0.75, we'll choose 0.74. Just so this is a split second where there's no visibility. So anything above 3/4 volume, so when that bar gets to 3/4, this will trigger. When it gets under 3/4, but not at 0, the middle one will trigger. And when it's at 0, or close enough to it's not funny, and that one will trigger. Now that should be working perfectly fine. So if I now back out, back all the way out, we'll do an actual test. That puppet's got that shitty camera. Let me just quickly rectify that because it's a basic puppet. And somebody there likes to put idiotic zooms. Boom. Camera. 1.4. 30 should be fine. Okay. So now when we speak, you'll see the puppet does thing. And if I yelled, the mouth will get the big opening. Now obviously if you want it to be the big opening earlier, lower that 0.75. Lower that down to go 0.5. And if you get 0.5, make sure you do the other one at 0.49. Always just that little bit lower. In fact, Let's quickly do that adjustment now. We want less than, see how that's 5? We're going to turn that down to 0.55. And then make that one greater than 0.54. Just that little bit lower. So that will prevent any sort of invisibility situation. So now, when I'm here, it takes less for to do the bar, the big opening. But that there looks fine. Okay, so if I now can turn the X-ray off, let's quickly grab that one. I'm going to plonk it there, put it on the actual puppet, get it roughly spot on. Now, because I've placed it on the same layer, I can now invisible that. And if I now come in, the head is now on the puppet and I'm not getting any sort of collisions. That's good. Now, they've added a feature, so I can now delete that version. I've got to turn that one back on and then turn that visibility back on, and if I grab the head I can go delete. There's an issue you can have where your puppet will disappear. Now if you come into the head and go into not that one, into the collisions, you see it on the blocking camera blocking mode. If you turn it to never and do the same with all these pieces, like I have to do all these again, but go through and go to there and make sure never is clicked on all of them. Then obviously it will never interfere with the camera. So I wish there was a way to do it easier. Just half the back. Oops. Now obviously if you're doing something like this, you do get into a rhythm where it's like all of a sudden you start hitting your marks. The only time that you get frustrated is when the PlayStation controllers be PlayStation controllers and do things like not track properly and stuff like that. Oh my god, I can't see the console. It's like it's a couple of too far. It's a couple of meters to the left. Oh my god, I can't see it properly, but on track. So those are when you get frustrated. There. Okay, so the back is now like that. I'm not gonna actually no, I might as well do it all while I'm here. Grab those into there, do that. Grab that one, do the same with that one. And the only reason I'm doing actually I can do this scalp part. The reason I'm doing this is so that if you're attaching it to the puppet and your camera settings are a little different than what my camera settings are, maybe you have the camera a little bit closer or a little bit further away or whatever. It's like you don't want to have to deal with all of a sudden you can't see your puppet, it's phased away. So that's the only reason I'm spending the time. I'll do this with like some of my creations. But a lot of the time it's on a creation I'm doing so much work on that that one, and actually I should put it. Okay, so that's the closed mouth, so that can be done on its own. If I grab that one, I have to go in by one. Do that, and then if I want to quickly grab that and do that as well. And if I grab, come on, is that it? No, that's the shot. Okay, leave that there so I know when I got it. There we go, that one. Oops. Okay, I'll have to zoom right in, aren't I? Come on, there we go, that one. So now I can come in here. Go that one, and go never interfere, and then do the same with the tongue. Never interfere. Okay, so now the only bits on that entire head that'll interfere is the eyes and the technically the earrings. Actually, you know what? While I'm here, might as well do them as well. The chances of it happening with them is remote, but you know, what the hell. Okay, so now that should never interfere with the camera. So let's put that to theory, huh? So the most common reason for it to happen is if you grab this and we'll massive the head, plonk the head where we need it. Let's make everything not. There we go. Now, generally speaking, doing that will cause that plus a close camera. So mine's at 1.4. That if I look at certain angles, the puppet should disappear. But in theory, because I've told it never to interfere with the camera, it should never disappear. And see how it's disappearing. It's still happening. So, but it's less of a issue. If anyone makes a head that big, I would love to see the creation. Okay, but there doesn't seem to be any sort of bugginess up there. I know the bangs, not the bangs, the fringes, the two little bits go on either side, do have an issue with clipping, that they'll get jammed on weird angles. And the only way I can think of doing that is by making them not move. Which is easy enough done, so I'm not going to be too fussed about it. Now let's get it a bigger. Again, I'm just testing. Okay. Yeah, see, it definitely still interferes. Unless. Hang on, let me just double check here. If I go into, oops, to that layer, yep, that's the correct layer. I come into here, it doesn't have the label there, okay. So I can't adjust it from there, but if I go in by one, yeah, so it's only individual sculpts. So the only thing that could be doing it is the eyes. So let's just double check the eyes. If I remove the eyes, no, so it still does interfere. So why is the setting? Sorry, I'm not going to worry about too much about the setting. Okay, we can delete that. Don't need it. That has been tested. It's pretty good. To be honest, I think that's ready for a release. As you can see, the chin does go down a little bit on the yell, but only so ever so slight. And in this view, I could adjust it. And I'm thinking those could use adjusting, but it all looks relatively good. I'm not 100% happy with the eyebrows, but to be honest, they'll pass. So if I come in, I can now go to save. Okay. So that's there. I can now back out. I can actually use my tags now. So it is a... where are we? I don't want to label it as work in progress because I'm still going to work on it, but I could do that. It's not a Little Nightmares. It's character and special. That'll do. And let's make sure people know what it is. Okay, so that's all good. That's all good. Now if I go to upload, put a quick note. I could go refining needed, or I could go early version release. That'll do. Got this. Make something forever. Yes. Let it upload. Okay, so it's now uploaded. I can back out, go into here. For a dependency issue that happens with the saves, I'm going to delete the online version, the offline version. So now there's only that version, and then I'm going to go remix. This is a tip for anyone who's doing it. If you release it like online as a private creation, delete your offline version, then come back into here, then grab, like, do the edit, then come in, go or say quick save, go into here, go contraption or character or whatever. You can then relabel it as, just so that I know, go 0.2. So now the Sakura Head Alpha 1.1 is released online. It's not taking up space on my hard drive. And if I now use that in another version, so if I now back out and go like this one, if I check, I come across here and check its like genealogy, it's got the eyes and it's got the head. There's no other dependencies because I've released it, and then this copy of it is what I'm editing. So this is online. It will never get an update to its dependencies because it's been released as a dependent of only the eyes. Oh yeah, because it's because it's a remix of that. That's what it does with the icon. If I get used in, hasn't been used in anything because it is literally a fresh. It's a fresh baby, if you want to call it that. That's its parents, and that's the offspring. It's got no remixes, no used ins, and its contents, which is its parents, are the eyes, and the actual release that I put released up. Now this one here, as you just saw, I just saved it online. So if you come in, it's remixable, it's listed, anyone can use it. Now obviously, it's nowhere near perfect, because, like, yeah, I spent on and off hours on it, but the hardest part is the hair. Like, I'm not good at the hair, but in my opinion, I was practicing the hair, got it fairly well. That I tried to do with I try to do my builds with as small amount of sculpts as possible. So if, for example, the hair, like the fringes, actually we're going to show you this. That sculpt there is the same as that one there, same as that one there, same as that one. They're all, that one there, that one, they're all the same sculpts. That's to reduce, if I come, let's back out, quickly go into remix, just so you can see. If I go to show hide and go to thermals, to reduce these. This one here, if I use a small amount of possible, like as I did with the hair, each time I make a sculpt, it raises that. But if I then copy that sculpt and do not edit it in any way other than making it bigger and smaller and rotate, so for example, if you look at the thermal, it's 18%. If I copy the entire head, it's now doubled, but it's still at 18. But if I edit this sculpt in any way, it then becomes different to that one, and it will raise the thermal. and that's the reason why I sculpt the way I sculpt. Same with the painting. Because it's painted, if I come in and paint this one different to that one, then those two there become, like if I come in, that one there and that one there are exactly the same sculpt, just it's flipped and moved. If I paint this one differently, they then become separate sculpts, and that will raise that. So that's what I do it the way I do it. Now obviously just removing one or shrinking it down or whatever, that's fine. But it's when you alter the sculpt in its form, then that's when it changes. It works the same with the sound. If you record a noise and then that noise is altered, then it becomes a new noise. But if you just use sections of it and use a different section for each one, it will only play that section, so they will sound different because they're playing different sections of the noise, but it's not its whole new thing, so it doesn't use extra thermal. So for example, if you want a puppet to better say hi, bye, and thank you, just record yourself going hi, bye, thank you, and then use in the gadget start and finish points, just move them. That way the word hi is played in one, the word bye is played in another, and the word thank you is played in the third one. But it's still only using the one sound, the hi, bye, and thank you. But because you've cut them in a way, it reduces thermal. So that's how to save on thermals. So I'm going to call the stream there, guys. If you play on Dreams and you like Sakura, or even if you just want to use the hair to make your own characters, help yourself. By all means, if you make a creation with it, don't with me. Exit, don't save. Okay. So yeah, I'm out of here. Stay safe, and I'll catch you all next time. Thanks for watching.